The night had swallowed the town whole. Cold winds swept through the empty streets, rattling the metal trash bins and whispering through the cracks of abandoned buildings. Beneath a flickering streetlight, a little girl no older than 6 sat curled up on a torn blanket, clutching a worn-out teddy bear against her chest. Her shoes were too small, her dress too thin, and her eyes too tired for someone so young. Every few seconds she glanced down the street, hoping someone, anyone, might stop. But nobody did. The world had moved on. Miles away, the low rumble of motorcycles broke the silence. The Hells Angels were returning from a long ride. The men, with leather vests, loud laughter, and faces hardened by life, were the kind of people most crossed the street to avoid. But among them was one man, Jack Steele Morris, who had been quiet all night. He was a man built like a mountain, his arms covered in tattoos, his face rough but marked by a quiet sadness that no one dared to question. As the bike slowed near the edge of town, Steele's gaze caught something small and motionless near the curb. At first he thought it was trash, until he saw a faint movement. A child. He pulled over, his headlights spilling over her small figure. The girl flinched at the light, hugging her teddy bear tighter. Steele turned off the engine, his boots crunching on the gravel as he approached. "Hey, sweetheart," he said softly, his voice deep but gentle. "You okay?" She didn't answer. Her lips were trembling. He crouched down in front of her, his eyes meeting hers. What he saw hit him harder than any punch he'd ever taken, pure fear mixed with exhaustion and loneliness. The kind he knew too well, the kind that never left you. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of unexpected love, then take a second right now to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Let's spread stories that remind the world what real humanity looks like. Steele took off his leather jacket and draped it over the little girl's shoulders. The jacket was far too big, but it covered her trembling body like a shield. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lily," she whispered. "Where's your mom or dad, Lily?" Her eyes dropped. "They went to heaven." Steele's throat tightened. He had seen tough men break. He had seen friends die in his arms, but nothing hit him like those 3 small words. He looked around. No houses nearby, no shelter, no one who seemed to care. Just this tiny soul sitting in the cold world, abandoned and invisible. Something inside him cracked open, something he thought had long turned to stone. Steele picked her up gently, feeling how light she was, almost weightless. He carried her to his bike, wrapping her carefully in his vest. "Don't worry," he murmured. "You need a home, and maybe I need a family." As he kicked the engine to life, the roar of the Harley echoed through the night, not as a sound of rebellion this time, but as a promise. The other bikers glanced back in confusion as Steele rode with a small bundle in his arms. When they reached the clubhouse, a few of them muttered in disbelief. "What's this, boss? You picking up strays now?" one joked. Steele shot him a look that silenced everyone. "She's not a stray, she's family." The men exchanged awkward glances, but didn't argue. They'd seen Steele's temper before, but tonight his tone wasn't angry, it was protective. Inside the clubhouse, the air smelled of oil, smoke, and leather. A neon light buzzed weakly overhead. It wasn't a place for a child, but it was warm. Steele found an old blanket and some food. Lily ate quietly, still holding her teddy bear, her big eyes watching every move he made. "Don't you worry," he told her softly. "You're safe here." Over the next few days, the bikers adjusted. They weren't used to the sound of laughter or tiny footsteps echoing across the concrete floor. Some grumbled about it. Others found themselves smiling when they saw Lily brushing her teddy bear's fur with a tiny comb she'd found. She began calling Steele Uncle Jack, and though he never said it aloud, it filled something empty inside him. But not everyone approved. One afternoon, the social worker showed up, following a report. A child had been seen with a biker gang. The woman's eyes narrowed as she saw the tattoos, the bikes, the rough faces. "This is no place for a little girl," she said sharply. Steele stood tall, his voice calm but firm. She's safe here. She's got food, a bed, and people who care about her. That's not for you to decide, the woman replied. We'll have to take her to foster care. Lily's hand clung to his, her eyes filled with panic. Please, Uncle Jack, don't let them take me. Steele's heart twisted. He knelt down, brushing a tear from her cheek. I'm gonna fix this, okay? I promise. He spent the next few nights awake, pacing, making calls. He'd never cared about the system before, but now he was willing to fight it. He learned about fostering, background checks, interviews, all the things he'd never imagined himself doing. His brothers laughed at first, but soon they started helping. One of them, a mechanic, cleaned up an old RV behind the clubhouse and painted it bright blue. Another brought stuffed animals from his niece. Slowly, the clubhouse transformed into something unrecognizable. A home. Lily started to bloom. She'd sit on Steele's bike and giggle when he revved the engine. She'd draw pictures of her and Uncle Jack riding into the sunset. Steele, the man once feared by many, now found himself braiding hair and patching up teddy bears. His brothers began calling her their little angel. Months passed, and when the social worker returned, she was stunned. The tough bikers had built a small reading corner, a garden with flowers, and even a play area made from spare motorcycle parts. Lily ran to her with a smile and said, I have a family now. That night, Steele stood outside watching the sunset. The same golden glow that had shone the night he found her. He thought of his own past, the fights, the regrets, the loneliness. He had lost people he loved. He had buried more brothers than he could count. But that night, as Lily tugged his hand and said, Come play, Uncle Jack, he realized something. Maybe life had given him one last chance, but life wasn't done testing them. One stormy night, the clubhouse caught fire. A faulty wire sparked in the kitchen. Flames spread fast. The bikers scrambled to get everyone out. Steele burst through the smoke, shouting Lily's name. She was trapped inside her small room, crying. Without thinking, he ran in, wrapping her in a wet blanket. The ceiling cracked above them, but he shielded her with his body and carried her out through the flames. When the firefighters arrived, the clubhouse was gone. Everything burned, but everyone survived. In the hospital, Lily held his hand and whispered, You saved me. Steele smiled weakly. No, sweetheart, you saved me. When the local news covered the story, Biker saves orphan girl from fire. The town that had once avoided them suddenly saw them differently. Donations poured in. People came forward offering help. For the first time, the Hells Angels weren't seen as outlaws, but as heroes. Within weeks, a new clubhouse was built, this time with a small house beside it. It had a pink door, a tiny swing in the yard, and a mailbox that read Morris Family. Steele officially adopted Lily that spring. The courtroom was packed with bikers in black leather, each one wiping away a tear as the judge smiled and said, Congratulations, Mr. Morris. Lily jumped into his arms, her teddy bear between them. I told you, Uncle Jack, you needed a family. He smiled, holding her close. And you needed a home. From that day on, every ride, every sunrise, and every rumble of the engine carried new meaning. For the man who once thought he had nothing left had found everything. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Let's remind the world that kindness can come from the most unexpected hearts. And before you go, comment below. Do you believe everyone deserves a second chance at family and love? Because sometimes, the people we least expect are the ones who save us when we need saving most.